Alright, no problem, Manu. So we will look into that. Okay. Alright. So coming back, everyone. So we started again object-oriented programming yesterday. So we went back and we started object-oriented programming. So let's see. Yeah, I did. And Anuradha Gupta, please call me after my class. Yeah. Object-oriented programming means writing classes. Before we used to write functions, subroutines, procedures. See, PLSQL we wrote procedure. In VB scripting we wrote subroutine. We wrote function, right? But remember, those are all procedural languages. Instead of putting the code into a function directly, we are now creating entity, a definition of an entity. We say that there is an entity, there is an account. Agreed? And we say that there are attributes for the account. So there is account number, account balance. And we say that there are operations on that account, on an entity. Those are nothing but methods. Agreed? So that is the first concept. See, the first concept in object-oriented programming is abstraction. Finding out, see, for example, tomorrow you want to write a QTP VB script or something. For example, you have to do a data-driven programming. First you need to write a function. Agreed? You need to have a file system object. You need to get the Excel object. You need to get a row object. You need to get cell object. Agreed? So similarly, abstraction is nothing but finding what are the entities inside a system to build that entities. See, you can solve a problem. Means if you go deeper into it, the solution is nothing but laying out the things clearly and finding out how they are communicating. So for example, a software is nothing but taking out a real world system and making them entities into the programming and making them communicate. For example, I will make a account class. I will make a customer class. A customer will come and open an account. A account belongs to a customer. Simple. I made a solution there. Agreed? We can use this solution to solve any banking problem. Agreed? This code can be used to solve any banking problem. So when we are writing classes, we are writing definition. So when we write methods, we are writing the operations, the logic inside them, what an entity can do, what other entities can do, and everything. Agreed? So generally when you write a class, you need to write it a part of a package. A package is nothing, gives a complete name. A package is nothing but a group of classes. It is nothing but a logical grouping of classes so that you get a full name. For example, see, everyone has a name, but you have a last name, or so why do we need this? It's so that we belong to something. We belong to this package. Agreed? And package name is generally divided into three things. One is this is called package, sub-package, sub-package. So generally you will have domain type. For example, commercial, com, non-profit, org, educational, edu. Then you will have the company name. Then you will have the module in that application or the module. Agreed? So this is, your class belongs to a package. Then when you write a class, you are writing only definition. You are not creating objects. An object is nothing but an instance of a class. We can create as many instances of a class. So for example, all the objects are reference types. The object goes into heap and the pointer goes into stack generally. Agreed? At the starting point. So when I say account A is equal to new account, I am creating the object in the heap. And the A1 pointer is in the stack. Agreed? A1 is pointing to the object, and this object has account number, account balance. Account number, account balance, these variables are called instance variables because they belong to the instance. Every instance of account will have an account number and account balance. They get automatically default values. Agreed? So when you write this, automatically account number is 0, account balance is 0.0, and I deposit. And next thing is, never ever expose your variables directly. The reason is, the data should not be exposed outside. Information should come by processing the data, right? For anyone, information should come by processing. For example, tomorrow you go to a train station. Will they give you the table chart of all the trains and everything? No. They have to give us information, not the data. No one wants data directly. And if you give data directly, that is not a system itself, because there is no logic there. So everything is based on logic. So you need to hide your data. That is called information hiding. By default, everything is public when you write that, but you make your variables private. So by making your variables private, you are hiding the data for outsiders. So when you make something private, it belongs to only the class. So private means this belongs to only account. Agreed? Only account class can see this. Anyone outside cannot see this. Agreed? So by making them private, but sometimes you need to access the data. So you use getter and setter methods. Getter method is nothing but read access. It's a method you write to give a read access for a variable. Set method is nothing but to give the write access to a method. So it's up to you. Means business demands it. For example, for account balance, you should never write setter, because you should never set account balance. For account number, you might say I might give the setter. So if you give setter write access, if you give getter read access, if you give both read and write access. Okay. So this is also called encapsulation, because you are hiding all the details and you are exposing the behavior using methods. This is also called encapsulation. So now coming back, what does private mean? Private means within the class. Only anything which you write private means within the class. So if can I write a method private? Can I write a method private? Can I write a method private? No, we are not talking about static here. Can I write a method private? You can write it. The method can be private too. If you write a method private, no one can do withdraw. Agreed? No one can do withdraw. So generally people write methods which are used by other methods as private. So if you write a small logic which you don't want outsiders to see, but only can be used by other method, generally methods will be public, because you need to give behavior to our outside people. The behavior of this object can be accessed by the methods only. So, but sometimes you don't need to give all the methods. Sometimes methods are used by methods. So the used methods are not generally given as public. Okay, they can be private too, because they are also part of. So these methods can be only used within the class. Agreed? Can you write a class a private? Can you write a class a private? Can you write a class a private? Difficult to do what? So remember one thing. What is private mean? Within the class. So when you are saying within the class means, can a class be private? You are saying that class means within the class. So can a class be private? No. But there is one way you can do that. If this class is inside another class, then it can be private. Those are called inner classes. We don't need to go now. So, and no one is writing inner classes coding nowadays. That is age-old programming. Maybe in the new days when Java came in 1990s. Okay. So no one is using inner classes nowadays. So you will never write a private class. Agree? You will never write a private class. But you can write a private class generally if that private class is sitting inside another class. So please remind me again when I am doing composition, I will explain what is the use of private class. Okay. So generally you will never write a private class, but you can write private methods and private variables. Okay. All the instance variables generally should be written private. Okay. So let's go. From today actually all the important concepts will be coming, and for maybe next 2 classes everything Java, all the interview questions are here. So I can't tell you as a question and answer, but all the interview questions are here. Okay. So now there is something called constructor. Constructor. Does anyone know what is a constructor? It's initialize the object. For example, think like, yeah. See, let's go and say test2, or let's say class constructors example. Okay. So let's use this, and let's say, okay, account A is equal to, let's say A1 is equal to new account. What is A1 dot account balance? What is A1 dot account balance? What is A1 dot account balance? 0.0. What is A2 dot account balance? 0.0. 0.0. Then, so is A1 and A2 are pointing to same object? Are they pointing to different objects? Yes, they are different objects. So they are two different new objects and they are different objects. Yes. And both the values are same. So even though you create 100 account objects, all the account numbers will be 0, all their account balances will be 0.0. For example, you think like you go to Honda showroom and you take the basic Honda LX or what is that? Honda has LX. Yeah. So for example, you go to Honda showroom and say that give me an LX. It will be same. You go and ask for another LX. It will be same. Agreed? But do we all do that? When you go in, you say that I want moonroof, I want leather seats, or for example, you want to customize for yourself, right? Do you take it home and bring back it and do you customize it, or when you take the object itself, you want it customized? Means by the time you want that object, you want it customized. Am I right? You don't come back at home and take it again for, like that will become a repair. That won't become like a new car again, right? So that is the reason. See, the thing is, by default, if you create objects, all will have same state. What is state mean? State is nothing but the values of the attributes of that objects are called state. For example, what is the state of account A1? 0, 0.0. What is the state of A2? 0, 0.0. Even though you create 100 objects, it is the same thing. The state of objects will be same. Sometimes people want a different state. So that time you need to use a constructor. Constructor is nothing but a logic which runs in the beginning of the creation of the object. So let's come in a different perspective. Now, why didn't we say just like this? Why did we use this parenthesis? Remember, for example, see when you want to do A2 dot withdraw, there is a parenthesis for withdraw. Why? There is a parenthesis for withdraw. Because that is a method. Because methods need parameter, or you have to use empty. For example, let's say if you want to do get, let's say A2 dot get something, say you have to still use parenthesis. Agree? Because these are nothing but telling that is a method. Agree? But is account a method? What? Account is a class, and I am asking to create an object using this class. Agreed? I am asking to create an object, new object of this class. Then why did I use parenthesis here? So really I am calling a method there. If you see, that is, I am really calling a method, I am not really calling a class. Because class is a logical concept, it's not a physical concept. Class is a grouping, it's not really an object, it's not really there in the memory or anything. Class is a grouping of elements together, attributes together. The memory is given for attributes. Memory is never given for a class or object. Object means attributes memory. Agree? So here we are really calling a method. That method is called constructor. So what is a constructor? A constructor is a method in a class which takes the name of, for example, this is called constructor. Constructor is a method in a class which takes the same name as the class. And which will not, here I am not writing void or I am not writing int or anything. Why? Because constructor will not return anything and constructor will only run at the object creation. Okay, let me write this again for you. So how was the Java test yesterday? You didn't do? Okay. Anyone else? is that? Okay. Easy. Sujay also, yeah. So everyone is saying easy. So I see easy word a lot there. That's good. Yeah. I wish it was the same in your interviews tomorrow. Alright, coming back. Okay, let's focus here. Constructor is a method. Is a method. If there is a method, you can call it anytime. For example, there is a withdraw method, we can withdraw anytime. No, constructor is not a method which you can call yourself. It can be only be called only at object creation. At object creation. Agreed? Called only at object creation. So when the object is created, this method will run. Agreed? So when an object is created, this method will run. This method does not have, constructor will never have return type. Means this automatically runs at object creation. For example, you are going to showroom. Okay, give me moonroof. They will fix it and give it to you. That will be done only one time. If you are going back and asking something, that is not constructor. Constructor is something that you are running it at the creation of the object. Understood? At the creation of an object. So constructor will never have a return type because it automatically runs in the beginning only. Okay. Constructor name will be same name as constructor name. Be same as class name. So if there is a account class, the name of the constructor will also be account. Agree? There can be multiple constructors. There can be multiple constructors. As long as the signature is different. What is signature? Let's go and see that all this signature is different. Okay. As long as the signature is different. So let's get. See, I will say public account. Okay, I will say public account. So this is a constructor. So I will say by default everyone will get account number is equal to, let's say, 10, and I will say account balance is equal to, for example, our bank is offering a deal that everyone will get $25 if you open checking account with us. Okay, if you open an account with us. Agreed? So by default you will become, account number will become 10 and your account balance will get this one. Okay. So constructor is used to initialize that object. That is called, see, by default everyone will get the same state. To get an initial state for an object, you use the constructor. So see this one, what will happen? I will show you. Let's say, for example, here we will say 1 and here we will say, let's say before it used to be 10 cents. Okay. Now see this one. Okay. If you see here, there is account A1 equal to new account. Agreed? So A1, there will be a pointer A1. There will be a pointer A1. Agreed? And there is a new account. So it will go here automatically. It will go here. So how many variables does account have? 2 variables. What are those? Account number. What are those? Account number. Account balance. Agreed? So what is account number? Integer. What is the default value of integer? 0. So 0 will come here. Agreed? 0 will come here. What is the default value of account balance? 0.0. Automatically it will see that you said that, okay, account number is equal to 1. Account number is equal to 1. Okay, no problem. It will change it to 1. It will change it to 1 and it will change this to 0.10 cents. Then constructor will run. You see that then constructor will run. So base object will be created. Default values will be set, initial values will be set, then the constructor will run. So what will be the account number will become 10 account number will become 10, and here account number will become 25. Okay. So what is the difference between this and this? Why do we need a constructor when you can do directly initialization here? Constructor is a method, am I right? Here I can write a logic to go to database and bring, like, what is the minimum, what is the deal today, and give you that balance. Agree? I can write logic in constructor. I can't write a logic here. You see that? See, this is a logic. It's a logic which runs in the beginning. Agree? It will be 25 only. I am changing it. I am not adding it. So I am changing it. So it will be 25 only. Okay. So when you say equal to, it changes to that. Plus equal to will add it. So constructor will run at the end before giving the object to someone else. So now what will be the value of account balance now? What will be the value of account balance here? What will be the value of account balance? 25. What will be the value of A2 dot account balance? 25. Agreed? See, having 0 as an account balance doesn't make any sense. 0 as an account number doesn't make any sense. So that is the reason we do it. For example, now let's see. I don't put this constructor. Did I put this constructor before this class? Did I put this constructor before this class? But if you see, still I am calling the constructor. You cannot create an object without a constructor. So let's see. You cannot create an object without a constructor. Okay. Alright, so you cannot create an object without the constructor. So did I write the constructor in this class? Did I write a constructor in the class? No. If you don't put a constructor, then where is the constructor? Who puts the constructor for you? Yes, compiler. So when you compile a class, remember we compile the class to Java files to .class files. If you don't put the if you don't put the constructor here, compiler will automatically write the default constructor for you. Okay. If there is no constructor in a class, compiler will put the default constructor for you. Okay. Wow. So what is this default constructor mean? What does this default constructor mean? What does this default constructor mean? Which does not have any parameters. The constructor which does not have any parameters. Okay. Alright. So that is the default constructor. So if you have a default constructor, you can have also more constructors, some other constructors too. Yes. For example, now let's say, I will create another constructor. So when you are writing a constructor, you can write another constructor as long as the signature is different. What is the signature of a method? See, I told that you can create one more constructor. So all constructors do not have parameters. No. Only default constructor does not have parameters. So you can create one more constructor as long as the signature of the constructor is different. See, if there is a method, means method has something called signature. Okay. Why? How does method have a signature? It's not a digital signature or anything. So what does signature of a method mean? For example, let's say public int add int a int b. Do you see this? What is the signature of this method? Signature is equal to name of the method, number of parameters, plus type of the parameters. So what is the signature here? This is the signature. This is the signature of a method. Okay. So you can have in a class you can write any other same method. For example, So that is called overloading. Concept is called overloading. I will bring it again. So you can write multiple methods or constructors with same name as long as signature is different. So let's see how it is. For example, I can write this method in the class and I can also write this method. For example, let's say double A, double B. Is the signature different? Is the signature different? Because this is different and this is different. You see that? Different signature. For example, so you can write another method. Let's say int A, int B and int C. So is the signature different? Either you should have different number of parameters or different data type of parameters. As long as you have different name or different type or different number of parameters, the signature is different. So do you see what is the signature mean? Everyone. See, signature means complete name plus number of parameters plus name of type of parameters. So you can have methods with different signatures. So even though the name is same, as long as you change the type of the parameters or the number of the parameters, you can have as many methods with the same name inside the same class. Agree? What is this concept called? Overloading. This is called overloading. What is this concept called? Overloading. Why are we not writing constructors in that? Okay, Srivali, I will come there. That is a good question. So please ask me once I am done with this one. I will definitely answer it for you. Okay. Alright. So this concept is called overloading. Overloading means having same name but different many items. Agree? Having same name, different items. For example, let's say signature includes add also. See, generally signature means including this one. Signature is combination of name, number of parameters, type of parameters. Overloading is a concept as long as you have you can have same name as long as you have different parameters and different number of parameters or different type of parameters. See, the rule in Java is to have different signature. Overloading is a concept, same name but different parameters. Understood? Am I clear? Okay. So this is called overloading. Similarly for constructors also, but for constructors can we have different name or anything? Constructor means class name. It should be class name. It can't have different name than that. For example, I will write a constructor now with int a number. See this one, with int a number. Agree? With int a number. So I wrote a constructor with parameter. See, I have a different constructor, I have a different constructor. So what does this multiple constructors mean? Why do we need multiple constructors? Simple. You go and buy a car. You can get the basic model, technology package, advanced package, entertainment package. Do you see that? There are different ways to get that object. A constructor is two different ways to create an object. So I can choose this. For example, when I am creating an object, for example, let's say account A1 is equal to new account. When I am creating this account object, I get two choices. I can go with the basic constructor or I can give the account number in it and I can call this constructor. So I can go for this constructor or this constructor. So when you are creating an object, you get a choice of creating an object in different ways. That is the different way. Each constructor is a way to construct an object. Am I clear? That is the reason it is called constructor. I can go for that one, I can go for this one. See, now how I will use this constructor. Now let's say, for example, we have a database. Let's say we have a database. Okay. This is our database. Think like that. I know this is not database. This is text file, but think like it's a database. Okay. For example, first account will will belong to Anuradha, and for example, in her what is her bank balance? 200k. Okay, let's put 20,000. Okay. All right. So for example, second one will belong to Sanchita. Please give me a random number. 30,000. Okay. So third one, in our at least in our database we can have more. Okay. Anu. Let's say 40,000. Another Anuradha 50,000. Okay. All right. 100,000. No problem, Anu. I'm very sorry about it. Okay. All right. Yeah. Humanish. Okay. Let's put 10,000. Okay, so this is fine. This is our database. So we have all this data in database. Do you remember, for example, do you remember how much was Sanchita's? No, we don't need to. That is in the database. For example, now think like tomorrow, Sanchita is logging into the account. She will put her login. For example, think like, let's say I will write a simple program. For example, let's say, yeah, I will make this more interesting. Okay. For example, let's say Anuradha, can give me your email address? Anuradha underscore GAU@yahoo.com. Sanchita, can you give me your email address? Sanchita underscore Tiwari at yahoo.com. Okay. And Anu, can you give me your email address? Anu, Anuradha, Gupta, and Himanish. Email address, please. Anu Pushkarna at gmail.com. Okay. And let's say Himanish at hotmail.com. And Anuradha Gupta, actually I did a mistake. Okay. Anuradha Gupta 12 at yahoo.gmail.com. Okay. Alright, so we have accounts, DB, everything is there. For example, I will create a constructor now with just say string email address. Okay. If you give me the email address, I will go and populate your object for you. Then I will say, let's say, get details. Let's say I will say get details, something like that. Okay. And I will write another method called get details. So let's say public void get details using email. Okay, I'm writing a method. This is a method. Agree? String email address. Okay. So for example, let's say this is, you have to pass here. I will explain this again. Please let me write the code first. Okay. So what I will do is, remember I used buffer reader last class. Br is equal to new buffer reader and new file reader. File reader, new file. Think like this is, I'm connecting to my database, right? I'll go and connect to my database. What is this? Accounts DB. So I'm writing a method. If you give me a email address, first I will go and open this file. Agree? Don't ask me what is this try catch. Okay. Agreed. Come on. So I have to, where are this, java.io.star, so that I don't have to write multiple lines. So I am importing all the IO classes. Agreed? So what will I do is like then, so I am reading the file. So I am going and reading the file. Means I am reading the database. I have this my email address. You gave me email address. For example, you are signing into your Bank of America account. I got your email address. So what will I do? Then let's say, what will happen? So I have to read the file. So string line means record. Let's say each one is a record. In database, each one is a record is equal to br.read line. Agreed? Each record has what? For columns. Agreed? So what will I say? String array columns. Let's say columns is equal to record dot split. Means I'm splitting the record using comma. All are separated by what? Comma. Am I right? All the items, all the columns are separated in a row by comma. And what will I do? For each string column in columns, remember I am using everything whatever I learned. Agreed? So first thing, so I am going through each record in the database, and I am going through column by column. And let's say, actually columns, actually let's use, if, hold on, yeah, actually while record is not equal to null, first I have to go record by record. So I have to do a while loop. Remember, I have to do a while loop, and first record I will take and I will split the columns. The last column is always, for example, I put it in an array, right? 1 2 3 4. Agreed? So I am putting into an array these 4 things into string array. So what will be the index of this one? What will be the index of this one? What will be the index of this one? 3, 0, 1, 2. I am reading the line, I am putting them into string. So what will be the index of thing? So if the column of, so I will go and read one by record, and I will check if columns of 3 is equal to, or dot equals, actually not equal to, don't ask me what is dot equals, and is the same as the email address. If you give the email address which is matching inside the column 3, I am going through everything, then you are my record. What will I do then? Then your first one is your ID, then the first column is your ID. Then what will I say? This dot account number is equal to integer dot %, because it was in string, right? I need to parse the integer out of, so I will take the column 0, and I will make that as your ID, and I will go account number, and account balance is the third column account balance or fourth column account balance? Second column account balance. Is it the third column, second column? Which column is account balance? Which column is account balance? Is it second column, this one? This is the third column. So what will be the index of it? What will be the index of it? 2. Account balance is equal to, this is double dot parse double, and you put this one. Okay, agreed? So now see this one. So I will close this BR. Okay, BR dot close. Okay, so now go and let's see this one. See this one. Okay, okay, all right. So see here, for example, I am coming to Bank of America site, and I will enter my email address and password, and I will click submit. What happens? It goes to a Java program, and here it will come, it will say account A equal to create the account object with email address. See, I can create account object default constructor, or I can pass email address. For example, let's pass, you entered, let's say Sanchita. Tell me your email address, Sanchita. tiwari@yahoo.com. So I am passing a string. I am passing a string into this. I am using this constructor. When I use this constructor, what happens? It will give this email address to another logic. This logic will go to the database, it will read, it will find your account number, account balance, and it will give into the account. Now what will be sysout a dot account number, a dot get account number. See, we don't directly use variables, we use get methods, and a dot get account balance, get account balance. Tell me, what will be the balance of Sanchit? What is your balance, Sanchita? You forgot your balance. You should always keep track of your balance. Okay, so now you understand. So let's see if it really prints it or not. It didn't print. And it is going into an infinite loop. Do you know why? We have to read this again in the while loop. Remember, just go for the next line. 1 second, everyone, give me. Alright, let me run this code again. What? Your account number is 1 and account is 0.1. Hold on 1 second. It will come to this one. Buffer reader, new buffer reader, accounts db.text, and while record is not equal to none and column split. Is it comma only? What did we separate by? What did we separate by? Comma only. Comma. Let's see. Okay, let me actually do one thing. I will debug this code now. We are using email underscore. Okay. See, Sanchita, you forgot your email. See, that is the reason, because I can't find this account. That is the reason I got 0 and 0.0. Okay, let's go and see this one. Okay. Okay. So on the HTML page, automatically when you log in, what happened? Account object is created in the memory, and that account object is created using a constructor which goes to database to get your information using your email address and populating the object using the constructor, and you are printing that object properties. You understand how tomorrow things will work in programming? Only one object created. Only account object. How many objects are there? But generally tomorrow when you log into a system, user object, account object, balance object. So many objects will be created for you in that memory. And if you don't come back in 20 minutes, what will happen to all those objects? If you don't come back to that site or do anything on that page within the 20 minutes, all the objects will be deleted. So you understand how object oriented programming means if an end user is using something, there is an object for that. You understood that? If I am logging into my Bank of America to access account, means there is an account object out there in the memory. Where is that memory? On the server, application server. Where is this logic running? Application server. Where is the web server? See, this application server will give details, but you can't see like this, right? You don't use command line applications tomorrow or direct code. This will give to the web server. Web server will put everything into HTML and will give you HTML. Understood, right? That's why request will come to web server. Web server will give this email address to application server. Application server went and talked to database server. I went and spoke to database server just now. Agreed? And I came back. I got my information. I am giving back to web server, and web server is showing you the information. Did you understand? This account object is still active as long as my program is running. Here I ended my program because it is in a main method. Am I clear how things are working now? Yes, mostly. Yes, object oriented programming means if there is an entity, there is an object. No, objects and everything are part of application. Where is Java running? Java doesn't run web server. It runs in application server. The code is in application server. All your objects are in application server. Web server is to give you HTML output. How do you want to see this output? On a web application. Agreed? So that is the reason you need a HTML. So that is the reason we give this output in HTML. See, is it clear for everyone? There is a reason why am I doing this. Tomorrow I want you to explain how things are working. Is my voice breaking? because I went into an infinite loop there. That is the reason my voice broke. Okay. Alright, are we clear? So what is a constructor? Constructor is a way to create an object. So you can overload constructors. Do you see this? Overloading. You can have a constructor with this one, this one. Now tell me, what is this keyword? What is this keyword? What is this keyword? This keyword is used to access instance variables inside methods. Agreed? Inside methods. This is used because if there is a method, there will be local variables. How do you differentiate local variables from instance variables? Using this keyword. Agreed? Using this keyword. Okay, this is a handle to the current object. Okay, so is constructor different from method? Constructor is a method which runs only at the object creation. You can't call it back again. You can't, once you create, you can't go back and say a dot account like this. You can't do that. Constructor will be called at the object creation only. You have to choose a constructor while you are creating an object. If there is no constructor, automatically there is a default constructor in the class. Who puts it? Compiler. So if there is no constructor, you automatically use default constructor. If you put a constructor, and if you remove the default constructor, will the compiler put the default constructor for you? If you have a constructor, see, I have a constructor which takes email address, agreed, which takes an email address as parameter. So is there a default constructor here? So if I compile this, will compiler put default constructor here? No, it should not put it because I already wrote my constructor. So can I create the object now with the default constructor? For example, I want to create another object and say I want to create an object with the default constructor. Can I do that? No, because there is no default constructor there. I removed it and I put my own constructor there. Agreed? So you can't create an account object just like that. You need to give an email address to create an account object. That is the conditional. See, for example, let's say you can't get a bench without leather seats. Just like that. Yeah, that is mandatory. That is the constructor for that. You don't have default basis like that. Okay. Can constructor would be private? Very good, Vijayasri. I will come back to that. Yeah, constructor is by default public, and I will come back to that. There will be a session on that. Yeah. We can create a default constructor. Even though you don't write, it's automatically created. For example, if you don't put a constructor, automatically there is a default constructor. Or you can write it, if you are writing different constructor, if you still want default constructor, you should write like this. But think like business perspective. Why would I want 100 accounts to be created 0.0? I don't want anyone to create an account object without giving the email address and without getting all the information from database. So it's more restriction. I'm putting the restriction on the business. Am I clear, Sujaya? So let's go now to this method. So what did I do in this method? See, generally this will be in database. Here we don't have time to go and connect to database, JDBC and all this because we are not expert Java programmers yet. So that is the reason what I have done. I have put it in a text file. How do you read a file in Java? Using the file class. We create file object. Using file reader, we read character by character. Using buffer reader, we read line by line. So I created a buffer reader which uses file reader which uses file. Agree? So we will learn all this in java.in. And I read a line using this buffer reader. I get that line. While line is not equal to null, means if there is a line, means I got that record. And I will split that, in array class. Did you attend array class today morning? Was there a split method in array? Can you split an array? Sorry, can you split a string to make an array? So that will be taught in string class. Don't worry, the split method will be taught in string class. So if there is a string, you can split a string and make an array. For example, you have 100 names separated by comma. You can tell that split by comma and put it in an array. That is called split method. You split a string and put it in an array using a delimiter. What is a delimiter? Delimiter is a character which is separating your values. Agreed? That is called delimiter. For example, tomorrow you will be using CSV files. For example, I have a file tomorrow. This is called CSV is a general universal standard comma separated values. Okay. For example, I will say my data dot CSV means comma separated. This is a universal format. Okay. Comma separated values means I will say one, like let's say some data is separated by comma. Understood, right? So that is called comma separated values. Agreed? So here, so you can take a string and you can split that using a delimiter and put it into string array. Agreed? And then we will make sure that the third column is equal to email address. Then I will say that my first column will be account number, third column will be account balance. And I will go and read the line again and again and close it. So you will get this code later, not right now. Okay. While loop. No, I didn't use for loop here. I used while loop because while is good when we don't know how many times we have to loop. Remember, if the number of iterations are not known, we have to use while loop. What if we don't know in which column we have that email ID? Means the number of the column, but we should still know name of the column. In comma separated values, you should know where is the on which column. But generally, in comma separated values in Sujaya, if it is a database, there will be a column name, right? You will use the name of the column to get it. If you don't know in which column, what is the name of the column means, you don't know your business. You can't code. You are not eligible to code business then. If the developer does not know business, what is the point of coding there? Yes. While loop doesn't need any incrementer or all this kind of stuff. That is a good thing. While end of file. Tomorrow when you are doing your VB script, you can read a file, open file, and while end of file. Okay. While it's not end of file, you can go until that point. Okay. Agreed. So this is construct, and there is one more thing. So this is constructor overloading. Having multiple constructors with different parameters is called constructor overloading. Agreed. They won't ask in the same way I taught you, but they will ask about constructors. Constructors is a really good topic. Yes, they will ask you. They will ask you. Overloading, overriding, these are all common questions in Java. Okay. See, if there is a concept, there are a number of ways to ask it. So the concept will be same, but they might confuse you. That is one thing. That comes with experience. So for example, if you go for an interview, that's what I've been telling before. You still know the concept, but you can't answer it. It will take time. It's okay. Yes. That is the reason you need to fight. See, again, I'm telling that I am done. When I am teaching, I am done. Why are there mocks? Yeah, still, like, if you go and take with a different instructor, the instructor will, every instructor. So the number of mocks will make you perfect. If you take more number of mocks, it will make you perfect. See, if you are going for the same instructor again and again, they will be getting bored to ask the same question again, right? They will ask different question. That will be okay. Yeah.
We asked about system integration.
Yeah. See, that is the reason. Every instructor is different. That is the reason. One other reason why I don't take mocks is I don't. Yeah. Rani is asking me when can we take mocks after your bad classes are done, Rani. Because the reason is there are so many old candidates, like November batch candidates are. Is it again? Yeah. Yeah, Rani Sri Alonga is different. Rani T is different. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, so coming back again, so I will explain one more thing here. Yeah. So we all know value types and reference types. We all know what is pass by value. There is no pass by reference in Java. Remember that. Okay. We pass value type by value. We pass a reference value as value for reference type, but not object as value. Okay. So there is one other strange thing about Java. I told what is composition. Remember I told what is a composition before? Okay. What is a composition? Agree? What is a composition? Putting things together to make something is a composition. Agree? For example, if you see our account is a composition of two things. What is that? Account number, account balance. Agree? It is a composition. It is not a collection. You agree that, right? For example, tomorrow our bank has a customer. Our bank has a customer. Agree? So I will say customer. And let's say, tell me an attributes of customer. Tell me attributes of customer. Customer ID. Okay, very good. Name, private string name. Name. Anything else? Customer email address. Email address, primary email. We can say string primary email. So what is the case? Is this camel case or Pascal case? Is this camel case or Pascal case? Camel case. Very good. Customer password. Yes, very good. Password is also there. Very good. And anything else other than password? If you are a bank customer, what will you have? I have email address. I have password. What else I will have? I will have SSN, I will have user ID. User ID is email address. Let's say I have accounts. So how will you bring an account? How will you tell that a customer has an account? Will a customer have only one account or he can have multiple accounts? Okay. So for example, I can still tell private account, customer account. Do you see this? Can I write like this? I can. That is composition. See, for example, you make an engine and you can go and put it into Toyota or you can go and put it into anywhere. It's an engine. Of course, nowadays engines are different for each car, but just think like that. Generic. A tire is there, 70-inch tire, something is there, like, there is a tire with specification. It can go into many cars, right? You can go, so car has a tire. Tire is an object, tire is an entity. You take 4 tires and put it to car, now car is an entity. Understood, right? It's a real world. That is how real world works. You make entity, go and put it into another entity, it will become a toner is an entity. Printer has a toner. Agree? Printer has a toner. Printer has many things. Car has an engine, seats, tires. Agree? Customer has accounts. So can you tell how many accounts? No. Account array. He has collection of accounts. A customer can have single account or collection of accounts. This is called composition. You can make a type and this type can go into another type to become another type. Am I clear? You can make a type and this can go into another type and become another type. That is how real world works. Customer has accounts. So generally, see, that is what object oriented thing. Before, see, the beauty of object oriented programming is, remember, when you created tables, what is the concept you used to create tables? How do you know how many tables you have to create? What is that called? You need to speak up. No, I am not asking how many tables you need to create. For example, you are doing a banking software. If you are doing the schema for banking, how do you know that you have to do a customer table differently, you have to do account table differently? What is that concept? Normalization. You do not have duplicate, you should not have duplicate columns, you should not have, data should not be redundant. Agreed? And you should have relationships between the table. Agreed? 1NF, 2NF, 3NF, 4NF, voice code NF. Am I clear? See, before you might think that you can put, people might think that, okay, let's put account ID here, account number here, and let's put account balance here. That is bad, because customer is different, account is different. They are two different entities. Just like how you do normalization and create different tables, we are not putting customer, account and everything in one table, right? We are doing a account table. Why? Because why do we do account table separately? Account does not have to be related with customer. May be related by foreign key, but you should not. Account does not depend on customer. First of all, account can exist without customer also. For example, customer left the bank. You should still maintain that account for auditing purpose. Agree? You should still archive that account. Agree? For example, there is an account, like for example, all the fractions going to one account in my bank. For example, bank owns an account without a customer. Agree? My bank itself owns an account in the bank, same bank. You never know. A account does not belong to customer, so you can't put everything in this one. Similarly, normalization becomes a composition here. Create entities separately. Create an account entity, create a customer account, and relate it. How will you relate it? That account, there will be an account array for a customer. Okay. So now if you come here, so let's say I will create a customer now. See this one. I will do a composition example. Okay. It's time to change. Okay. For example, let's say customer. Actually, I made private, everything private. I should use get and set methods now. So just for our sake, I will make it public. Tomorrow everything will be private. For our own sake, I will make making this example easy. Customer C1 is equal to new customer. For example, this customer is Anuradha. Okay, let's go back here to our examples, and let's say Himanish has two accounts. Is maintaining two accounts in our company or bank. Let's say one with 70,000. He is hiding this account somewhere. Okay, let's say this account ID is different. Okay, but it belongs to Himanish only. And let's say, yeah, actually, I can't get the same account. Yeah, it's okay. So let's say he is using a different email address here. Okay, is using a different email address here, and let's say Anu Pushkarna also has another account, and let's put 10,000 in this account, and let's say this one is the okay. Alright, so Himanish and Anu Pushkarna has two accounts, but all others have one account. Agree? So let's say first we create a customer. Our customer is, let's say C1 is Anuradha. C1 dot customer ID is equal to, let's say 1, and C1 dot customer name is equal to, let's say Anuradha, and now C1 dot accounts, C1 dot customer accounts is equal to new account array of how many? Only one account she has. Anuradha has only one account. Agreed? So you learned arrays right today morning, everyone? Okay, so account array, and the C1 dot customer accounts, C1 dot customer accounts of the first account in it. There is only one account. Dot is equal to, actually the first account reference is equal to new account. And what is the email address for her? What is the email address for Anuradha? Okay, I'll copy this. So this is her account. Okay, so this is agreed. Now I will do C2, and this is 2, and this is Himanish, and what is the, there are two accounts for him, and the first account is with this email address, and the second account is with this email address. So let's see this one. So now, great. So now let's close this one. Now what will I do is, now actually I will create a customer array. I will create a customer array. Okay, customer array customers is equal to new customer. Two customers are there, and customers of 0 is equal to C1, customers of 1 is equal to C2. How many customers I have? 2 customers I have. Okay, so now let's say for each customer C in customers, can I do this for each logic? Okay, for each customer in my customers. Agreed? So actually I will show you how this looks in memory. Let's go and look this in memory. Okay, there is a this picture I want to show you how does it look in the memory. Okay, you need a bigger one. There is a huge heap and there is a stack. Okay, first thing is there is a customer array. Agree? There is a customer array. This is a pointer or something else? This is a pointer. Customer array. So if you say this is a customer array, okay, customer array, actually this is a pointer. In this customer there is an array. How many elements are there? How many elements are there? In this how many elements are there in this array? 2. So there is a box with 2 items. Agreed? What are there? Customer pointers. Agreed? There are customer pointers. So if you see there is a pointer, there is a pointer. So this box is pointing to an array which has 2 pointers itself. Agreed? And in this pointer, in this one is pointing to a customer object. This one is pointing to a customer object. This one is pointing to a customer object. Agreed? So this one is pointing to a customer object. This one is pointing to a customer object. Agreed? What does customer will have? ID, name. Agreed? This customer has how many accounts? Anuradha customer has how many accounts? There is only one account point. Actually, there is a accounts array in there. There is an accounts array. It points to an accounts array. So this pointer points to an accounts array. This pointer points to an accounts array. And how many accounts are there? There is only one account, and this is the account. Do you see this? And there is account number, account balance here. You see this? Now if you come to this customer has account ID, customer ID, customer name, and he also has accounts array. But in his accounts array, how many accounts are there? How many accounts are there in Himanish accounts? 2 accounts. So 2 accounts, and each belongs to this belongs to one account, this belongs to one account. And account number, account balance, account number, account balance. Do you see that? So you go for an array of customers, pointer to array of customers. This point to a customer, because customer is a reference type, you only save the reference here, you only save the reference. You point to a customer, you point to a customer. For this customer, there is an array of accounts. In this array of accounts, there is only one account. One account. In this array of accounts, there are 2 accounts. So there is one account, there is 2 accounts. What is that? This is customers array. See, this is customers array. See, let me write this down for you. This is customers array. These are customers. This is accounts array. Accounts array. These are accounts. Agree? This one? This one? One pointer, customer pointer. Customer array pointer. Single handle is holding many things. Do you see that? That is why object oriented program. If you have this handle, how many you are holding? You are holding 2 customers, you are holding 3 accounts inside that. So using this single pointer, see, customers is the pointer for all this array. Customers. Actually 3 are in stack. These 3 are in stack. There are actually C1 and C2 also. C1 and C2 also. But I copied them to here again. This actually what happened, first I created C1, which is pointing to this customer. Agreed? I created C2. I created C2, which is pointing to this customer. Agreed? And then what I did, I took C1 and C2 and put it into an array, and I made this as customers. Am I clear? So how many pointers are there in stack? C1, C2 and customers. Agreed? So see, customers, using this for loop, see this one, for each customer in customers, for each account A in C dot customer accounts, okay, print me A dot account, get account balance. Let's see. So we will get 1 of Anuradha's, we will get 2 of Himanish. There is some mistake, but there is, so Himanish 1, only 70,000 and 10,000 are being shown. Something else is not showing up because I have a null pointer exception. Why do I have null pointer exception? See, this one is customers of 0 equal to C1, customers of 1 equal to this one, C1 of 0 equal to this one, C1 of, I think I did right only. So somewhere there is a null on Java composite example 29. One of the account is null. Why an account is null? I think it didn't go through. One of the account, I think it can't find. It does. C2 dot. Yes, C2 dot. Okay, who told this? 1 second. Yes, now it will run. Agree? Yeah. So that is object oriented programming. Single pointer can point to an ocean. All you need is a pointer. Understood, right? If you lose that point, see, all these objects in this memory, generally if you put something in heap, who will remove that? Can we remove it? Who removes the object in a heap? Garbage collector. So will they be garbage collected? Generally, if there is an object, as long as it can be traced back to the starting point of the main method, it won't be garbage collected. For example, garbage collection first comes here. It will see this object. Or should I garbage collect it? It will see, let me trace it back to stack. Oh, it is tracing back to stack. So someone is using it. If it is in stack means someone is using it. Oh, I won't delete that. So if you just remove these 3 pointers, what will happen? All of them is garbage collected. Agree? If you just remove these 3 pointers, how will you remove a pointer? How will you remove a pointer? C1 is equal to null, C2 is equal to null, C3 customers is equal to null. Got it? Done. All of them is garbage collected after that. Okay? That is garbage collection. Okay, that is composition. So focus on that. Yeah. And next 2 classes are very important. Everyone should focus that. Okay, there is one more thing I want to tell about overloading. For example, let's say what is this I plus j will give? What does this I plus j will give? 30. Okay, no problem. So what is plus doing there? Addition. For example, let's say string a is equal to string b is equal to so what is a plus b doing here? So what is a plus b doing here? Concatenating. Okay, that is called concatenation. Means appending. What is the concatenation operator in SQL? What is this operator in Java? No, what is this operator called in Java? OR. Yeah, OR here is concatenation there. Agreed? Yeah, pipe. Very good. Yes. All right.